The paleo diet is taking some heat. It is one of the most popular diets out there now.
There's been recent debate, though, on just how beneficial the paleo diet is, and a new study suggests that it might be bad as smoking. Dr. Jeannine Hogg is in pediatrics at Baptist Women's Hospital. Jeannie, good to see you.
Hi.
So, first of all, what is the paleo diet for those who are not familiar with it?
For those who are not familiar with it, the paleo diet, paleo is short for Paleolithic if you're looking at the different time periods. It basically is a call for a diet that goes back to kind of what our hunter-gatherer ancestors ate. So they basically ate meats that were, grass-fed meats and pasture-raised meats because they were natural,
right,
what they, hunted and killed,
right,
and grains and vegetables that they could gather.
Yeah.
So basically it's a diet that kind of is high in, you're getting your protein from meat, lean meat, that's grass-fed or pasture-raised.
Vegetables, lots of vegetables.
Lots of vegetables, fruit, seeds, and nuts.
Okay. So, doctor, on the surface, a lot of people may assume, man, this is a great diet for some people, but dissect it for us. What do you like, the pros and cons of it?
The pros and cons are, I think probably the big con, in particular if you're talking about families, a lot of parents, because we in this society have just become so reliant on processed food,
right,
fast food, picking things up, and pretty much if you're following the paleo diet, or, kind of more, I like to think of things more as a lifestyle, because really anything that, diet implies like, you're doing something for short term,
right,
but if you're adopting this as a lifestyle, you aren't, there are no processed foods allowed, and so it's kind of like the fat, right? Yeah, and that part is a good thing. But it does for a busy family. I think the big con, and what I hear a lot of parents complain about, I don't know how to do this, is because we have become so used to going to McDonald's or going to this fast food place, or just picking up some stuff and a box of something and cooking it on the stove, or microwaving something, and I think those are all things that this is trying to move away from.
So what's the family to do or possibly do in this case?
Well, honestly, I think a lot of it is just what we've become used to. If we think about even like not going back to like the Paleolithic area, but even if we just think about what our grandparents ate, they didn't eat fast food. They didn't eat all of this processed food. They, they ate the food that they either grew themselves or that they got from a local market, and so they knew where it came from. They made fresh food. The ultimate fast food is like an apple. You just pick it up and eat it. And so, I think a lot of times people make this more complicated than it has to be if this is something you want to do.
But our grandparents ate bread, and paleo says no wheat products whatsoever.
Right.
So does that stretch what we need?
Well, I think part of why the big thing with wheat, and you see this both with the push now for gluten-free diets and with the paleo diet, a lot of this is based on, if you look at kind of historically what's been done to the wheat that we have today. It's not that wheat in and of itself is bad. For some people it is. If you have celiac disease, it actually is something that can cause problems for your system and digest it. But the truth is we really weren't initially evolved to digest those things. And so I think the issue that those grains and wheat are causing more problems with digestion, causing more problems with leaky gut syndrome and inflammation. And so a lot of people theorize, and now there is a lot of debate over this, that that's kind of the root of a lot of our modern diseases. So diabetes and hypertension. It's kind of a root cause of obesity.
So we can live without bread.
You can. Okay. I think it's just we've evolved literally to the point where we just think we have to eat what we're eating now. And the reality is we probably spent more time not eating as the human race, not eating fast food and not eating processed food. And I think we're starting to realize that some of these the diseases that have come up in the last, let's say, 100 years that are becoming worse now, if you go back and track it and you're like, what changed in our diet? What was different? And a lot of it is the introduction of wheat and other grains, highly processed food. Because I think that's the biggest issue, processed food. Our food now, like most of the food that's in the store today isn't really even food. If you look at like the additives and the chemicals and everything that's in that. It doesn't come from the earth. It does not come from anything that we can recognize. It's all made in a lab. And I think really at its heart, I think the paleo diet is trying to get back to the point where we're eating whole, real natural food.
All right,
Okay.
Doctor, we appreciate you being here this morning. Thank you.
Yes, thank
Food
you.
for thought.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, still ahead on Live at 9, we have a live performance from Mr. Russell Malone.
International jazz guitarist. Look forward to it.